Trail talk time. Out on another gorgeous trail. Nice and sunny again today. Little bit of clouds. Now, I made a video about the 7 Hermetic principles not too long ago, and I forgot to mention the principle of gender, masculine and feminine energy. So I wanted to talk about that today, talk about the balance. I've said in other videos how we are both masculine and feminine in nature. We have both of these energies within us. Whether we're male or female, it doesn't matter. And there are a lot of interesting things to talk about, so I'll get right into it. The masculine energy is the penetrative force, the motive force, whereas the feminine is the receptive force or the passive force. You can look at the way that our brain works. We have 2 hemispheres, the left and the right brain, the left being masculine and the right being feminine. This is a good way to see it within us, how we have both energies. Those that are more left-brained are said to be more logical and analytical and see things more in the parts, whereas those that are more right-brained, the right brain deals with creativity and seeing the bigger picture, the whole, and it's more random and spacious and free-flowing, whereas the masculine energy tends to be very step-by-step and mathematical and calculating, and the right is said to be more creative and artistic. And it's very important to balance these 2 aspects in your life. Let's say we become too left-brained, then we might not see the bigger picture in life sometimes, and it can be a bit stressful. But sometimes if we get too into our right brain, then we might be missing the little details in life, the details which can be important. And so balancing the 2 is key. There are certain ways to do this. You know, if you want to utilize your left brain, we can use prayer and meditation, for instance. Prayer being you sending out that signal and utilizing your power of thought to generate a prayer to send out, whereas meditation would be the other side, the receiving that transmission. And both are very important. In society, we see, right when we're growing up, so many gender roles that they put upon us. Watching TV, we see advertising and everything, you know, gearing certain things towards boys and certain things towards girls, right? Like the color blue for boys, the color pink for girls, as if they're somehow supposed to be a masculine color and a feminine color, which really makes no sense. And it goes on from there, you know, whether it be like certain types of toys geared towards boys, more action hero stuff, and army toys and stuff like that. and then Barbie dolls and princess stuff, ballerina stuff for girls. And we start to try and mimic this and shape ourselves according to these social norms. So we think that to be normal, or to be a normal boy or girl, depending what we are, then we have to try and fit into these norms. And it's just silly, because we have both energies within us. And just because you were born male or female in these bodies doesn't mean that you are specifically supposed to be geared towards anything, really. I mean, we absolutely have certain biological factors that are so different between the male and the female body. And we see back to the penetrative and receptive force of obviously the sexual organs. And there's something interesting looking back mythologically at beings that were said to have both a phallus and a womb. And there are still people who have both masculine and feminine sexual organs on the planet. But I think it's important to realize that you don't have to follow any type of social norm that we see in society and try and act how a man or a woman or a boy or a girl is supposed to act. You know, it's all programming. And if we can release that programming, then it's so freeing for us to be able to work with both of these energies in harmony and balance. You know, there isn't one without the other. This is a beautiful way to break down the energy of the whole universe, right? The masculine and feminine energy. This is the binary, the working of the universe, the yin and the yang, the hot and the cold. You know, one without the other just doesn't make sense. We can't have life without both. And so the balance is key. And I think it's important to note that many people, or most people on the planet, are right-handed and therefore are more left-brained than right-brained. And so we see a very masculine energy on the planet, and the feminine has been suppressed. It has been taken over and bombarded by all this masculine energy. And so I think for many of us, it's actually important to start to improve upon balancing out the feminine energy, especially for men, and realizing that there are, you know, sort of good and bad, or positive and negative aspects, or what they would call like shadow aspects of masculine and feminine energy. So it's still all about the balance in the two, and not being too one-sided. You know, sometimes it's time to plan. Sometimes it's good to try and do things step by step and hash things out and look at the details. And sometimes it's good to just move with the flow of life, see the bigger picture, and just use that allowance and that surrender. But when we're talking about really acting, taking action, that motive force of the masculine is very powerful. And so balancing these two is so key for our health, right? Our mental health, our physical health. It's good to know when to be active and when to rest and be passive. So you've got to listen to your own body and trust your intuition to know how to balance these two within you, because it's different for everybody, right? But yeah, I really just wanted to break down the difference between the two a little bit. See that difference between the more straight-lined masculine and the curvy feminine, right? And we can see how we can break everything in life down into these two components, the masculine and the feminine. And it's so interesting. And when we're in that divine balance, then we feel we are whole, and we can now start to live in harmony as nature does, being balanced in a beautiful way. And it feels amazing. So yeah, that's all I want to share for today. Hope everyone has an amazing day. Stay balanced, keep learning. Peace and limitless love.